Hi, thank you for watching a new video blog. Today from Germany. Ancestral blood memory. This is a very interesting topic in my opinion. It's something that I discovered and something that I've been thinking a lot about recently. We think that when we are born we're just blank, like a blank sheet. That's what some of the philosophers, civilized philosophers have tried to tell us and try to convince us from, that when the baby is born, that it's just nothing, that it's just totally empty. And this is untrue, because there is ancestral blood memory. And this is not a language, because the first thing they will say, like, oh, you know, why don't the children know the language? Why don't they speak the language? Why do they have to learn the language? You see, it's absolutely no proof of an ancestral memory. And it's a total misunderstanding, because language in itself is not per se based on words, but on sounds. Most, maybe all animals have a form of language. And these are not words, but they are sounds. And sounds create brain waves in your mind, and they can make you remember certain things. And that's the difference between learning just words and a language. The sounds. In these sounds there are memories hidden. And they get passed through from each generation. Because the sounds, they are in you, they are in your DNA. And words you have to learn. Words are just functional. There's not really anything to remember, because it's about this world. You try to explain yourself into this world. While with the sound memory, ancestral blood memory, you start to remember everything that has passed on into your ancestors' life. And in primitive tribes you see that in certain rites they create sounds, and for us it's like, oh, you know, these people are primitive, they're just like animals, like screaming. It just doesn't mean anything. We think, oh, it's just like they do this for it's just fun or tradition. But what they do is they remember the sounds of their ancestors, and they remember the memories that comes along with the sounds. So maybe it's good to explain it from a current perspective. I'm very fond of music. I love music. I write my own music. You can find it here also on my channel. Let's say that I'm proud of 30% of what's there. The rest is just like, well, maybe 40%. The rest is just like tryouts and things that didn't really work. But my music, the more I focus on creating or remember a feeling of my memory that I have, the more my music became touching, and it also became sounding more traditional. Because the first years I was just, when I was a child, I was just trying to make pop music, you know, like nice music, nice songs. But no, I wasn't really opening myself up to really, really deep feelings. I wrote love songs, and then I was opening up to more feeling. And this is like, if you hear a love song and it's touching you, then it means that you feel the love that all your ancestors had for the other half of them. So the men for the women, and they pass this on to you. This is a memory, and that's why when you hear these sounds, these love sounds, you remember it. But when I get deeper into writing music, I notice that I start to write more traditional sounding music. And these were sounding like traditional Christmas songs. And it felt good for me. Was happening inside me, because I had these visions also, because that's part of ancestral blood memory as well. You have visions inside of you. For example, I had visions I still have, of snow, mountains, forest, really the place where my ancestors derived from. I never had visions of the Middle East or from the jungle or from islands. I always have visions about snowy, cold places and forests, mountains maybe, snowy mountains, but mostly forests and a lot of pine trees. And this is what I envision when I write music. I never envision really a warm beach or hot climate. This is because it's all my blood memory. It's in me. All my ancestors were from Holland, what's now called Holland. Holland is just the name of a country, but from this region, from Europe, and this is what their DNA says. This is your home. This is where you feel home, and they made it their home. So they also told the next generation. They give this feeling that okay, this is your home. That's why you have these visions, and in music, you can really awaken these visions if you sing the right music, if you hear the right sounds. You really start to envision the beauty of this place and also the beauty of family, of children. I always have these visions about families sitting around a fire in a cold climate, in a forest, and this started to come more and more. I start to focus on these visions through the music, sounds, because I really didn't have no words, and then these visions came to me, and is the memory of all my ancestors, because I can see now how they lived, sitting around the fire. It was them. This is something that really tried to quickly destroy when you're in school. You shouldn't have these fantasies, and when you're just for example, drawing, when you start to draw things also, you really also recreate these visions, these memories. But of course in schools now they want to stop you with recreating these visions, because they want you to be their slave. They don't want you to remember your culture and your history and your ancestors. They want to delete this, and they want to indeed make you a blank sheet for the next generation, so that your children will not remember anything. That's why they give you stupid assignments and tasks to do. So they will say, oh, okay, let's draw like a building or something like very abstract, and they always avoid you to paint something that you remember. For example, children playing in a field with a beautiful apple tree and animals around them. If you're lucky, then they want to make you write very cold things, and I mean not cold with the climate, but I mean cold with no emotion, with no memory. And this is really what I noticed. I was like, yeah, this is me. I have these visions in my mind. I can clearly see that I remember things from the past. These are visions I've never seen, but they were just there. And I was just thinking, oh, maybe it's just, I wasn't really paying attention. Nobody told to me, like, hey, these are the memories from your ancestors. So I was not really remembering them that strongly. And I never focused on them. So now I start to focus on these feelings, on everything that I feel in my dreams, for example. In my dreams I feel and see things. Of course you see things from this world, but there are also emotions so strong, and they come from this other world, from your ancestors, what your ancestors gave to you. And you should really focus on this, and maybe write down if you have a vision or a memory, because this can mean that you remember something from your ancestors and an important message that they want to give to you. Like if you would write a message now, like, hey, what would you write to your children? Well, you tell them, go to this place, do this better, spend time with family, stay together, all these important things. This is the same, but you can do this through your DNA. You give it to the next generation, and they will feel it if they are instructed. And that's the problem. Nowadays, children don't get instructed. This is all being put aside as just like, They try to cover this up like, oh, this is just like fantasy or, imagination, it's not real. Dreams are just like reproduction of the real life. It's really trying to make it materialistic, like and like a sort of, oh, your brain is just a functional thing, it's just cleaning up all the information, blah blah blah. They don't tell you that's a really important receiver from messages from your ancestors, that in your dreams and in your fantasy, when you're opening yourself up in fantasy, and I don't mean with drugs or some nonsense, you don't really need this, but in your memory, when you're opening up, when you're writing your own music, and when you're opening, when you're showing the visions that you have, and you want to recreate these visions, and I have them mostly around Christmas, that's why I'm making this vlog now, because in the dark days you're open to these messages. Also, you sleep a lot more. Your dreams go deeper. In summer, life is just light, and you have to do more practical things. Like find a love, harvest your food, go hunting, store your food. Very practical things. But in winter, it's time to open up for the spiritual world. That's why Christmas is now. And in this time, we are trying to remember our past. And also I wrote many of our music around Christmas, because then I had these visions and I had these feelings, and I also had the attention to go and tell these stories and write these stories through my music. Also, that's why we do the ancestral worshipping in this time, from fall until early weeks of January, is always traditionally the time to celebrate to remember and to worship your ancestors. And when you're open, when you focus on these messages that you can find through ancestral blood memory, you can find them. But it's a very difficult topic, because it's hard to explain if you have never experienced ancestral blood memory, and you have to. Some people are more attached to it than others, are more vulnerable to remember, and others are don't have this strong built inside. They're different kind of people. But if you have these memories, and if you create things like music, like paintings, focus on what you really desire deep inside. How is your perfect world looking like? And probably this is what when you're touching the memories of your ancestors. Because the ancestors only gave you the good things. Of course, they will not give you stupid information or worthless information or bad information. No, they will give you all the great things, and you inherited them from them. So, yeah, it's a difficult topic to talk about. I know it's because it's hard to explain if you are not even really aware of it. I have come across this this year as well, so it's a very interesting topic, and I'll explain probably in the future more about this. So that was it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.